Go. What up, what up? It's Rand with the Y'all Podcast. That's right. You're Wednesday. Check this out. I started a podcast because I want to give people a platform to come on to inspire, be a motivational engine for viewers like you. It's Women History Month. I got my very first woman on the podcast, doing it on her own. Coming over, her name is Atoya Burleson. I've had the privilege of knowing her for about 20 years. Jesus, a long time. And not only is she an amazing mother, an amazing friend, amazing sister, but she's also an amazing wife with a whole bunch of other things that's going on. And I would be remiss if I tried to give more understanding of what this woman got going on. Atoya.
Yes.
How you doing? Tell us how you winning, girl.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I have a lot going on, actually, like you said. It kind of organically happened. I feel like, as a woman, as a mom, you wear so many different hats, and you do so much for so many people. And you get to the point where you feel like it's time for you to do for you. And that's kind of where I got to. I got to that point where I was ready to do something for me. So I started with the podcast. It's called Inside Lines Podcast. And it started, I would always get questions from people, whether it was my kids, they play lots of sports. So it'd be other parents like, hey, so, they always want to know stuff outside of football. Like, so what about this? Tell me about that. Or they say, you're so different than I thought you'd be. So it was just answering different questions. And I thought to myself, there's definitely a curiosity in the way of people wanting to know, what's going on with you, what's going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And I said, I love football. I've watched Nate play all through college, and obviously he's 11 years in the league. And I said, what, I'm going to share it from my perspective, because I do feel like there's things that they can't share because they are playing. And there's things that people don't know that happen on the business side. And a lot of people are shocked to find out. So I decided to do it. My girlfriend, Tia, jumped in with me. She's like, let's do it. So we just finished our second season. We were in Tampa for Super Bowl. We wrapped it. It was fun. It was different though. I could not have guests because of COVID, obviously. Yeah. So we had to work our way around it. Like the first year we had it at Neiman Marcus. They hosted us. We could have as many people as we wanted. We had Chef Amaris out. She cooked for us. We had a DJ. It was just live and it was fun. It felt like a celebration. But this year we had to think outside the box, and we said, okay, we can't bring everyone to us, so let's do it virtually. So we did a lot of different interviews with different women, talking to them in the different, we interviewed Sophie Harlan, which is the VP of operations for the LA Rams, to Kimberly Martin, who's on ESPN, we had Sarah Lovestyle. She is a social media influencer and coach. Just so many different women that we had about 6 different women on there, but it was so fun. It was different. It forced us to think outside the box, and we loved it. We killed it. It's fun.
It's crazy. I actually had a chance to look at some of the footage, man. It looked like y'all had a ball.
We did.
And then be able to have a podcast with somebody that you're close to and that can kind of be on the same wavelength as you, so you guys can kind of move in sync, right?
Right.
Your own style. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I wanted to ask you. I think you were touching on it a lot more already. Everyone knows, Nate Burleson, football player, this and this and that. And I think Nate did a really good job, in his interview to be able to express around, his life after football, his family, the values, etc. Yeah. And I love the fact that you started, my thing was I want Atoya Burleson on the podcast. Like you said, you're going to give a different perspective. You're going to be able to, give more of an inside position of what it is that you were able to experience with having a husband who was a college standout and then into the NFL. Okay, that's cool. I know that. I saw when we were in the condo and there were times when you were trying to keep this dude straight, and you know what I'm saying? And folks don't know, like, you've been they see the Atoya now. I knew the Atoya when it was already there, when you was already making things happen, and they gave homage to it. He was just like, yo, I was just a knucklehead football player. This one was already a track standout. She was already, graduating from college and doing her thing. And that's the stuff that I find that has a substance even more into it, because it now has created this amazing platform to where folks see now, the amazing family, the business entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all got to know where this woman comes from, like the lineage of how she moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Nate and I, we've been rocking since '99, a really long time, and we've seen each other. You know, we started as kids. We were both kids, you know, and obviously I'm 3 years older than him, so I would say I'm really like 10 years older than him if you're talking about a woman versus a man.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Keep it real.
Yeah, so you know, there was a lot of, you know, speaking into his life and reminding him, you know, of who he is outside of football and what he could be. You know, I remember when he was trying to figure out, you know, what he should major in and what he should do, and he didn't really take school seriously. And I just kind of explained to him, you have to take it seriously because that's the only way you figure out what you love, what your interests are, what's going to take you, you know, to the next place after football. And I'll never forget, he took a speech communications class and he came back and he's like, guess what? I wrote this speech out and I spoke in front of people. He's like, and I loved it. I'm like, that's your passion. That's what you'll do in some capacity later in life. And I never knew that moment back in 2000 would take us here, but that's what he's doing. He's speaking, he's using his gifts and his skills, something that he truly loves, and he's sharing it with the world. So a lot of people don't know that.
I know that. I mean, I think it's great because, you know, Nate got his swag. You know, he's had that swag from what I've learned since when I first jumped on the scene. He took me in, right? Yeah. And again, I don't want to stray away from Atoya Burleson because this is about you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm glad that man can speak the way he speaks on television. And we also say, do it like you're doing it for TV. And I don't even think he realized that he would really be doing it the way that he's doing it at this point. Now you're here. And you have a podcast and you have a platform. And I remember you had spoke out when Black Lives Matter was happening. You went to some type of event and you spoke out public. I was like, Atoya got speaking skills too. Hold on, man. Let's not get it twisted. And spoke out so eloquently, right? So let's be real, right? You got 3 amazing children that you're training in the way that they should go. You know, you're helping them be able to, you know, cultivate these different gifts that they have. You're nourishing those gifts that they have. And it all starts where folks don't realize it wasn't Atoya Burleson the whole time. It was Atoya Shaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over here like, there's a lineage in the Shaw family. You know what I mean? I know about the Jacksons, the Burlesons, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here, right. The Atoya Shaw, Arizona track standout, you know what I'm saying? Father, mother, sisters, you know what I'm saying? Brother, who's like 8 feet tall, that dunk, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want people to give folks an inside understanding of who you are to the core and how you are the amazing mother, the amazing wife, the amazing friend and sister and daughter that you are and where that comes from. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It starts from, like you said, parents. You know, I try to be a better parent than my parents were, and I had great parents, and I've always loved to learn. It's just who I am. And I was a psychology major, so I love to get in people's minds. I love to think. I love to figure out why people think the way they think, what makes them great, why they are the way they are. It's very intriguing to me. So that was my major. That's what I graduated with, was my psychology degree with a business minor. And then from there I said, okay, I don't want to necessarily be a psychologist where I only sit and take notes and test people and deliver bad news. You know, I didn't want to be that person.
Right.
But I took what I learned and I went and got an education degree. Because I wanted to be able to do many different things, and because I love to learn. That's just who I am, and it did help me. It helped me. Both degrees helped. You know, just learning how to talk, to communicate with people, specifically, not just Nate. Obviously, Nate.
Right.
But also, you know, kids or parents or whomever you're in the room with. You know, you could hold a conversation and feel comfortable. You could look at them, you know, because you also study behavior. You could look at them and feel what they're thinking and try to, you know, reach them in a way where they're calm or they relax or whatever the case may be. And then education is key. Like, I preach that to my kids. I feel like no matter how old you are, you can always better yourself. You can always educate yourself in a new way. And I didn't want to just preach that to my kids. So after I started my podcast and I was sitting in the COVID world, and I really realized, you know what, I have more to offer than just inside lines. And that's why I decided to start my Atoya Burleson brand, because I feel like you can educate people in so many different things, and you are not just one dimensional. You can be so many different people. You can show them so many different facets of yourself. And people need to learn that. You have this brain that you don't even use half of. Let's just be clear.
Right.
You think of the human brain, we don't use most of it. We get fixated in this one spot. We're taught to stay there, to stay in this zone, and this is what you do for the rest of your life. But that is not using all the gifts that God's given you. And so I wanted to be an example to my kids and show them you can do it. Like, this is how you do it. So, they realize, like, okay, I see you, Mom. You're not just saying it, but you're doing it. So,
and you speak so eloquently, and I love it. I think, for me, when I think about, your role and how you've had a role in Nate's life, right? I'm bringing up Nate because I think a lot of people have like this drawn out picture of what they think an NFL wife looks like, right? But I knew you before the NFL, right? Yeah. And I knew that you were real. Like, Toya, y'all used to check me and let me know where I needed to be right and how I needed to be on top of my stuff. But you going out too much. You need to sit down, go sit down somewhere. And I'd be like, I wasn't trying to have no big sister when I came to college. Like, back up off me. Like, hold on. But the facts remain, those are the things that I needed. Those are some and that's why it's okay for me to know that we can have an authentic conversation, not just an interview, a conversation, because the truth of the matter is I didn't have guidance growing up like that. I didn't have someone to call me out on my shit. You know what I mean? And really say, hey, buddy, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I don't even think you really knew that at that time. Like, I came from just nothing. Like, I was on my own. No parents, no none. Nate knew, because he had to spend the many times that I was in his room crying, etc., talking about how I don't even know how I'm going to do all this. But to see you come in and do it so fluidly and just jump in and really pull my card and hold me account. Yo, you have been the same woman, if not elevated even more, since we were kids. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm not surprised that you're doing the great things that you're doing. It's not about this picture of what an NFL wife looks like. Like, you are a mother. You're an entrepreneur. You have a clothing. I mean, you have your own brand. Excuse my language. You have your own brand. You're an Amazon influencer. Like, I got to give it out because you've worked hard and you speak so clear around how we only use a part of our brain. Yeah. Like, Atoya, when I watch Inside Lines, I get fired up. Like, I wish I could talk through Instagram and say, hey, girl, y'all doing that. Because I created the podcast during COVID. You see what I'm saying? And you're inspiring me even more right now because I'm taking notes. You're not just inspiring the viewers, you're inspiring the dude that got the platform to bring you on here, because that's what it's about, inspiring to inspire, sis. Right. So for me, absolutely. I love the fact that you're speaking so openly and vulnerably about, how it's just important to utilize our brains to the highest capacity and not to be so, kept in a box when we're bigger than that. We're more than that. You know what I mean?
We are. And I think we're taught to do certain things and stay in a certain realm in a box because it's safe, right? Like, if it's safe, nothing bad will happen. I won't fail. I don't want to fail. Like, failing, there's nothing wrong with failing. You think about all the majority of companies that they've become millionaires and then ultimately billionaires. It's because they failed multiple times and they were not afraid. And because what happens when you fail is you're able to pick yourself up, humble yourself, swallow your pride, and figure out another way. And that does open up another dimension to the brain, right? Yep. So I tell my kids all the time, it's okay to fail. I expect you to make mistakes because I'm going to love you no matter what. And in failure, that is when you learn and grow. That's where the growth comes.
It's so funny. It's so crazy because it's almost become a repetitive thing that I've said on the podcast. On this journey to the wins, there's always a process, right? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to have these different opportunities to grow, right? And in that growth, that's a win, because anytime you're learning, you're winning, right?
Right.
And as you talk about your journey to the wins and different things that you've had to endure, et cetera, one of the only things that run through my mind is when you were this track star standout, you know what I mean? Hitting them hurdles.
The good old days.
And the girl, and I think folks got to understand, as far as like, there's this, you throw up a whole bunch of like subject matters, and then in that subject matter, there's Atoya, and she's a mom, she's a daughter, she's a a wife, etc. But she's a track star. And in all those different things, there's a process to each one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so when I think about track, I think about your training regimen. I remember when we was on the football field, y'all running around the track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Many days.
You know, so I think one of the things that that struck me that I got triggered by was the fact that, you know, there's this process to the wins. And I think a lot of people think, oh, when I say, oh, you never really lose, I'm not saying that there isn't losses. I'm saying that you have opportunities to win and grow from things that you are failed from or you made mistakes from. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people got to get that misunderstood when I say, oh, no losses. It's like, no, I'm not saying that you'll never lose. I'm saying that when you lose, you have an opportunity to win because you'll learn from your mistakes, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think it's beautiful that you have attained so much. And that it's crazy because to me, it always came off as behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey. A lot of people say that. They're like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah. But I mean, for me, I think because Nate was who he was, I was okay. I was comfortable with that. And I, you know, spent my time and dedicated my time with my kids because, you know, they're only young once. They grow up so fast. And you know, I have 2 high schoolers. My daughter is the youngest. She's 5th grade. And I feel comfortable now stepping out. But I was okay when they were younger, giving them that time. You know, I didn't want to have any regrets. So you can still stay in your lane when you need to, but you can still use your creative side and dream and think about all the different things that you want to do later. I mean, I can go back to high school, you know, yeah, I was a track star and I won state, you know, in both hurdles, and then I got the scholarship, so on and so forth. But even I tell my kids, even before that, you know, they're like, why do we have to learn a foreign language? I learned a foreign language too. You know, you do. There's just things that are uncomfortable that you do. You know, I was an honor choir. I acted. There's all these different things that I did, not knowing that track was going to be the one that led me to a full ride scholarship. You know, I didn't know that. I thought, oh, I'm going to be an actress one day. I'm going to go off and da-da-da-da. You just never know. And so that's why you put your hands in different baskets and you try different things because you never know where God's going to lead you. And ultimately, he's in control. Right. Let's just be clear. Yep. And so, you know, you think about all the things that you learned, you know, even in church when he gives the money out to the different people and he says, okay, I'm going to give you this much. I'm going to give you this much. You go do something with this. Right. And it was the one that buried that got in trouble because he was afraid to try. He was afraid to put his hands in different baskets. But that's what God wants us to do. Right. That's what we should be confident in because he's showing us, I'm giving this to you for a reason. Go do something with it. So I remember that young, you know, as a high schooler on into college. And like I said, even with my kids, I tell them that go out and do as many things as you can because you never know what door will open. Right. And you'll never know what you learn from that process of something else that when you turn and you do something over here, that thing over there might come back into play. And you're like, oh, I remember that because when I did that over there, right. That's why that's making sense right here. Exactly. So yeah, it's all about just trying your hands in different things and being comfortable, you know, being comfortable and confident, knowing that God's got you and whatever you're doing, he's going to show you and open the doors that need to be open. Close the ones that aren't supposed to.
That's a beautiful way to even put it because I think, again, you know, as you're on here, you're paying it forward to the viewers and even myself, right? And I can't speak for the viewers. I can speak for me. All I can think about is how many gifts and talents that I know that God has given me, and I'll randomly use them. I'm silly as heck. I know I can be brilliant at times and do my little intellectual side. I can give my little passionate side when it comes to supporting youth and families or the firefighters or whatever. And I think I get in my head and I say, no, I'm doing too much. No, I gotta, you know, not utilize this or utilize that. And I start becoming that person that buries the talents, right? Right. And then I get that conviction when you start talking. I'm like, let me dig that talent up. Let me get that up out of here.
Yeah, I mean, buddy, you were an athlete. First of all, you can sing your butt off. Seriously, you're an amazing singer. You're a great comedian. You can sit and have a conversation with anybody in the room. Like those are blessings that God's given you. Like you don't have to pick and choose, you know, you'll utilize each gift when you're supposed to, period.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy too. You said something again that just struck a nerve. I remember when I was in Texas, it was storming outside and I was playing arena football, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God, what do you want me to do with all these talents? Yeah. Oh, somebody braids is looking nice right now. Who is a stranger in your house? Now you know he there? Hey,
he got the fresh lineup, as you can see.
Yeah. What's up with it, man?
Yeah.
Putting it down right now, man.
I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing because I respect the platform. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Can you get up out of here so she can win?
Yeah, I'm out of here. All right, love you, bro.
I love you too. Bye. Yo, shoot. Yeah, man. So I'm yelling, I'm screaming at God, like, why you give me all these talents when you know where to use them? And you brought it full circle. Because I remember my coach was like, God's going to let you use the talents in the time that he wants you to use them. Mm-hmm. And you just spoke a word into my life again and made it clear that I am on the right path and I am doing the right things, right? And that's what, again, this is what this platform is all about. It's for us to be able to inspire one another so we can pay it forward. You know what I mean? I mean, my son, you're giving me nuggets and gems because you have teenagers. I don't. I have a teenager and I need to be able to impart to him the stuff that you done raised boys, full grown, tall, eating everything in the house, boys.
Yes, everything.
You know
everything. I mean? Greedy, okay?
You know what I mean? Okay. Hey, at the end of the day, that one over there, he be making me feel like I thought I had the big appetite. Nah, he eating up everything out of house and home. Yeah. But I, again, I would be remiss if I did not bring up wanting to ask you a question around what is it from your lens, because you're a woman and an amazing woman at that. Like, again, y'all have to understand, if you guys got to be able to learn the type of woman that Atoya is. She really is very humble. She got a lot of gifts, right? And I think one of the things that I value the most about you is that you're honest. You always keep it real. You don't, you're not cutting any corners around it. And
that's so good or bad, right?
I mean, to keep it real, I mean, to me, it can come off for myself a blessing and a curse because I'm being too real. But for me, I picked it up as, not initially. It was like, why y'all up on get up on me? But as I think about it now, it's like, I'm glad that she was on me because I didn't have that type of guidance, right? So as a woman who is honest as heck, it's Women's History Month, honest as heck, real, doing all these amazing, great things, mother, wife, etc. When you talk about these things, what advice can you give to young women out there and women across the board, right, around what it takes to continue to keep this mindset of winning? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think, as women, we're very selfless. I can speak to that. You do so much for so many other people. And I think sometimes we neglect ourselves or we put ourselves at the bottom. And because you continually do that, it becomes a habit and you don't even realize you're doing it. So I would say as a woman, we have to learn to put ourselves first. And the reason I say that is if you're continually giving to everyone else, you are depleting yourself and you're not even giving your best self. And so when you put yourself first, not only can you think clearly and you feel better, but you can love better, not just other people, but yourself. And it gives you a moment to sit and think about you in a different perspective, right? If I'm giving to everyone else and then I just, the best thing I can do is just get in the bed and go to sleep. What have I done to better Atoya or myself? One of you guys, like, what have you done? What have you done to truly better yourself? So I would say the biggest thing is putting yourself first and being okay with that and understand you can still be selfless and giving, but you have to replenish yourself. When you feel good, everybody else in your house feels good. When you get time to rest and spend time with you, then you're able to see a different vision, to see something that you didn't see before. When you spend that extra 15 minutes in the morning, whether it's a meditation or prayer or journaling, it helps replenish you. And then you can replenish someone else, but it always starts with you. And I think that a lot of us are taught to be selfless and give to others, but we're not taught to give to ourselves first. So I would say that's the best thing you can do. The rest of it, I don't know what women are doing or what they want to do in their lives, or if they have, this fog, they're not sure what they want to do. They can't see clearly, but it starts with putting you first, praying about it, giving yourself time, and those answers will come. But if you continually disregard you, they'll never come. You'll live in that fog. And it's easy to do as a mom. Easy to do.
You know, it's crazy. I had a dear friend of mine. His name's Jeff Camarillo. He's an educator. He started a couple charter schools, San Jose and Oakland. And he spoke so candidly about the importance of mothers at this time during this pandemic. You know, there's a statistic that had shown that mothers are struggling the most during this time. And I took heart to that. And I was just like, man, you know, even with my son's mom, I was trying to like put myself in her shoes. But at the same time, I also looked at other various mothers that I knew that also were struggling as well. And one thing that I came to understanding is the importance of women leaning on other women that are also in a healthier space as well. Also, the men also making themselves available, not to want to ask them to do something or to create another task, but being available to say, hey, I'm here to catch whatever it is that you have maybe struggling with, etc. So I think the great thing that you're speaking about is self-care is just so important, right? Like having a history for me in the mental health field, working in that field for so long, self-care is so important. You know what I mean? That reflection time. Like I get up, I'll go to my balcony, which I don't do enough during these times. So you help me get back to that space. Breathe, look out at the sky. No matter if it's raining, if it's dark, etc. Taking it in, thinking, bringing in that positive energy and the vibes into where I want for myself. I'm over here thinking about, well, man, when do the women get to do that? You know,
yeah.
All these tasks at hand, like having these kids, etc. When do they get to actually have time for themselves? Not just don't go to the spa day. That's not something that ain't wrong. You can do that, but when do you have time to actually take care of thyself, mentally, spiritually, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I had to carve that in, and I'm so glad I did. You know, while my kids are still in the house, so they can see that. So my boys can see that. You know, as men, you know, understanding that. You know, so when it comes a time where they have someone, they understand it's important, and especially for my daughter, that she sees that and understands it as well. And you, as women, it's important for us to remind each other, because we all struggle with that. You know, sometimes it's hard, but just reminding each other, like, you know, when you talk to your girlfriends and you feel something, you say, you know, when have you taken some time for you? And just reminding each other, encouraging each other. It's so important. But if we are in an active state of doing it, we'll understand and see if someone else is struggling with it, and we can remind them as well. It's so important for women to just love on one another, empower each other, and tell each other it's okay.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy too, because I love what you just did. One thing y'all don't understand is that, again, this woman is an amazing mother, but she has a little mini me, okay? And her mini me is powerful as heck. I mean, already public speaking, can speak very well, and just a beautiful little young lady. And I love the fact that she has a mother like you, because not only are you empowering me as a man, but you're empowering the viewers, the women that are on here right now. Women's History Month, let's go. But you also have this as another, you know, archive that your daughter can look at and say, man, like my mom was not only encouraging herself, the viewers, but I'm also encouraged by that too. But for her to be able to be around that every day, though, you know what I mean? Like, you're raising a young queen. You know what I mean? I told Mike, I'm like, yo, I'm not raising no prince. Like, you're a king. But you ain't, you a king right now. Like, to me, I'm seeing you're raising a queen, and the influence that you have on her, it's just so amazing to me, right? Can you speak a little bit about your bond with her?
Yeah, I definitely want her to see all that I'm doing, but most importantly, I want her to do even more, because I hope she starts at a younger age and she understands, and she steps out there in her freedom and her confidence early, and just goes and conquers everything that she wants to do. Right. I tell her, I think the media, they do this, it's almost like this brainwashing subconsciously, where they tell you, okay, you're going to grow up and you might go to college, but then after that, you're going to be a mom, and you're going to be this, you're going to, they're trying to plan out your life. You're going to get married, and it's like, I tell her, you be and do what you want to do, not what anyone else tells you to do. If you say, Mom, I want to sing, you go sing. Mom, I want to start a talk show. I want to travel to another country and do an internship. Whatever you want to do, you do. And you stay true to you. Do not fall into the subconscious brainwashing of the media It is not who you are. And I try to really incorporate that and press that into her so she truly feels comfortable being her. I don't want her to ever be anyone else. And I told her, I'll support you. I'll go anywhere you want to go. You just let me know. So she knows and she understands that for sure.
Yeah, you know, again, because it's Women History Month, like I'm gonna push this episode so hard, not just because it's Women History Month, but because I think for myself, I'm feeling a little guilt myself because naturally I've just been drawn to having first thing that runs through my mind, oh, I'm gonna have this person on, I'm gonna have this person on, I'm gonna have this person on. And it's just like, I think the more I thought about you being on the podcast, the more it started to sink in. Like, yo, you need to really map out a diversified group, you know, gender wise, and not be so caught up into men that you know can be on the podcast. It's just like, yo, no, like I got a vibrant woman on here speaking some real facts and knowledge and giving out some real gems, some nuggets that folks actually really need to hear. So for me, I'm pushing this hard, yo. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Not playing, yo. Like if y'all get a chance, go to Atoya Burleson's page, IG page. She got a link tree. Go on up in that thing, start clicking on it, start learning more about the things she got going on. Because for me, I think it really would be a crime if folks didn't really realize all of the assets and the gifts that you have and the things that you're doing to be able to promote just self-care, love, entrepreneurship, great motherhood, great womanhood. You know what I mean? Like those are things that are important even during these times. You know what I mean?
So true. I think that there's so many aspects of all of us that we don't think about sharing. You know, for me, people would always say, oh my gosh, you do such a great job decorating your house, or how did you organize this? And all of those things that I do, I didn't really see as gifts, right? I just thought it was just something I did. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started my website, the atoyaburleson.com, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to put all of this stuff that I've done somewhere so that maybe it'll help someone else. You know, my girlfriend's like, okay, you're going to help me decorate this room, or you're going to help me pick out furniture. I'm like, I got you. Or help me organize this. I'm like, I got you. But these are all things that people do every single day. They may have time to do it. They may not. They may need, you know, just a list of how do I get started. So my goal is to basically put out there all the different things that I do and help someone else in an area where they may need it.
Right.
You know, I made many mistakes in doing it. Right. So hopefully I've made it easier for y'all so y'all don't have to make the mistakes.
Girl.
And y'all can say, oh, that's how you do it. Like, that is what I want to make life easier for women and for men too, because let me tell you something about websites for women. You want to learn about a woman, check out a website for women. You're like, oh, self-care. So that's what she says when says she needs a break. That's what she means. I need a break. I need to replenish me. Right?
Right.
It is helpful on both sides. I love that I can communicate everything that I want you through a website that you can't necessarily communicate when you're, you know, on Instagram or posting a picture. Right. So it's been fun. I love it. There's so much more I have left to do, and I look forward to it. I really do.
Well, I'm gonna let you in on something. I have a girlfriend, and she's amazing. And I started my LLC, right? And I've always dreamed of starting my own boutique. And I was like, really? I said, so what have you been doing to get it going? She's like, well, it's just up here. I'm like, well, you need to start writing things down and writing the vision down and making it plain. So what happened was we ended up getting her LLC'd up, right? And now she got her business plan going. And now she's got this. So she's like, oh, God. I'm like, see what happens when you start doing things, the juice is going. So I can relate to you that you're creating a blueprint so that it makes it easier for other people. But all I've been telling her is, baby, you got to meet Atoya. Like you have to, and because you guys kind of remind me of each other. Like the way you move, the way that you're doing certain things, it's like you got to meet her. Like,
I look forward to it. I do.
Like I was like, you got to just go check out Atoya's page. Just go
and tell her to let me know when it launch. I will support. I love empowering and supporting other women. It is so important. I think that's, like I said, it is afraid to step out there in faith. There is that fear. There is that, like, I don't know. But just do it. And you know what I learned is when you step out there and you just put it into action, God comes behind and he helps you through it, you know? Yeah. And so, but it's just taking that leap of faith and stepping out it's the hardest thing to do. And so I applaud you for encouraging her, because sometimes as women, you don't feel that encouragement, or you don't, people don't really feed into you because they expect you to feed into everyone else. So having someone that's an encouraging and supportive partner is so important. I love that about Nate. When I told Nate I wanted to do this, he was like, do it, go for it. And it does make a big difference, buddy. Because we, encourage and support naturally. So to have that from a male perspective, you saying, go, let's do this, let's do that. That's all the little jump start she needed to get it going. It's huge. Girl, it means a lot.
We hopping in the car on Friday and going to LA for the fashion district just to go check, because she's like, we should go. I'm like, yeah, we should go for you, because my brand is where it is, and I ain't pushing it like that yet. But you got this whole, stop playing, girl.
She's smart though. You gotta look into fashion. You gotta figure out what you want to do. There's so many, there's so much stuff out there. So.
Well, I'm definitely gonna link you guys for sure, because I definitely think that she could learn from you and see certain things. But also, I think while you looking at her eye fashion, she got skills. I was like, dang, girl, how you put that together? Damn, it look good on you. Anyway, but anyway, no. So anyway, I appreciate you being on the show. I guess to wrap it up, I think one of the last things I want to ask you is inside lines. Like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you wrapped up, season 2. So what we got going on now?
Okay, so with Inside Lines, we actually just did an IG Live on Sunday, and we kind of reached out to the fans, and we talked about, what do you guys want to hear more of?
Right.
What are you guys looking for? And so I've heard a little bit of everything. So we're going to do more IG Lives because they really enjoy those. They love, the bantering back and forth, and we can read it and talk to them in real time. We're also going to our first season during the off season after the first Super Bowl, we did not put out any footage or any podcasts once Super Bowl was done. We took a break and we started back when regular season started. But people were like, where'd you guys go? What's going on? So this off season, we decided, okay, we're going to put out 1 to 2 podcasts during the off season every month, as well as the IG Lives. And we got people that wanted to really do a Inside Lines fantasy football league. So we're going to start that in the fall. And we're going to do some fun. We did this a little bit during COVID, we're going to do a singles Zoom, which was so live last time. So people are like, bring the single Zoom back. So we play a little trivia, some football stuff. We ask some singles questions.
Okay.
It's really live. And we also want to do a couples one as well. So we're going to have
I'm in a couple now, like what's that?
Yes, I got you. So we're going to do a couples one. So we're going to do some fun stuff during the off season to keep people involved, and bring some guests on as well. We're going to try to do some for IG Live as well as some of the podcasts. So we're going to rev it up a little this off season, keep it going, and start off that fantasy football come September. It'll be fun.
Okay. Hey, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, go follow Inside Lines Podcast as well on IG. Follow Atoya Burleson. Follow Tia. What's Tia's IG name?
Oh my gosh, Tia. I think it's Tia827. I want to say
827.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys got to go follow these amazing women. They're doing some great things. They are providing a lot of support and a lot of yes, you can do it, in their lives at this time, and creating a platform as well for folks to come on and just do their thing and show who they are, etc. Toya, I love you. I appreciate it.
Love you too, buddy. Thanks so much for having me on. You're like a brother to me, and so. I'm excited for you. I support you and everything you're doing. It's amazing. And you guys continue supporting him. I know you'll do great things, and you'll bless a lot of people with all these interviews. So I
appreciate you, bro. Hey, listen up. Stay tuned. Atoya's interview is going to be aired tomorrow, Wednesday.
Hey.
All right. So stay tuned. We're going to blast it on Twitter. We're going to blast it on IG. We're going to put it up on YouTube, etc. Stay tuned for this amazing episode of the Y'all Podcast with Atoya Burleson. Thank you again, sis. Love you.
You're welcome. Yeah, love you too.
Yeah. All right.
Holla.
Bye.